Welcome to Vested Interest. This is Shane back again for another stock pick of the day. Today we are going to take a look at Heineken. It is May 17th, Wednesday, so one more after today. Tomorrow we'll do one more stock pick of the day, and then we'll be on to the weekend. We don't do videos like this on Friday. The market's not open on the weekend, and this being a long weekend, I'm going to try to put together my purchases for the week Sunday, maybe early Saturday, and have it set to open Sunday morning. So tune back in for that one. Again, one more this week for the stock pick of the day, tomorrow on Thursday, and then we'll head into the weekend. Hopefully you have a great weekend, and let's jump right in and take a look at Heineken. So if you want to know more about them, check them out, www.heineken.com. That is their homepage. I will say they make you type in your birth date to get into the site. So if you're not 21, they may not let you get in there. Hopefully, if you're not 21 as well, you shouldn't be partaking in any of their beverages, right? Becoming the world's leading premier lager, it's been 140 years since Heineken has been able to call itself a microbrewer. And while we're proud that 25 million Heinekens are served each day across 192 countries, we've never forgotten that the quality is measured not in the size of our brand, but in the purity of our beer, even as we continue to open up to the new worlds. Gerard's uncompromised drive for quality and perfection still lives on in the Heineken family. Cheers. So there's their brands. I mean, if you're over 21 and you partake in alcoholic beverages, you may know Heineken. Excuse me. All right, there's their Heineken Original, their Heineken, I believe that's their low calorie and no calorie drink there, and the drought beer that you might get at a bar or tavern. Right, so I have had some Heinekens in my time. Not my favorite drink, but not terrible either. So again, if you are a Heineken consumer, go ahead and drop it down in the comments down below. And if not, let me know what is your beverage of choice. Again, if you want to know more about them, check them out, www.heineken.com. That is where I pulled some information from. Now, why are we taking a look at them? I will be completely honest, and partly because I like the dividend name Heine. Who does not like to talk about a good Heine, right? We are talking about Heineken, ticker HEINY. Closed out the day at $55.25, down 2.55% on the day. And again, Heine, who again, it's just it makes me laugh. Maybe it's the kid in me, but that's part of the reason I looked at this when I saw it. I thought, oh boy, this is one I've got to do today. And you'll find out it is not a typical one that we're going to cover. We're doing this a little different today, so bear with me on this one. Now, 52-week range as low as $39.94, as high as $58.23. So right off the bat, it is closer to its 52-week high than it is its 52-week low. And if you've been here any length of time on the vested interest community, you know that I like stocks closer to their 52-week low, if not setting all new 52-week lows. So this one really right off the bat is going to be outside of my buy criteria here. So because it is closer to the 52-week high there at $58.23. So it would have to drop significantly for me to be interested. But let's run through the rest of it just to see where we're sitting. Average volume of 81 million. Today's was 65, and you can clearly see a sell-off, real big sell-off in the morning. Looks like they leveled out, maybe even recouped some of that sell-off midday, but then flat the rest of the day. Overall down 2.55%, as we said. Market cap of 63.781 billion. A beta of 0.64, so it is less volatile than the overall market. That's what beta means. 1 being the market, anything under 1 being less volatile, anything over 1 being more volatile, 1 being, again, the market. Price to earnings, PE ratio is $21.90. So that is high on this one, in my opinion. I don't know that Heineken is growing enough to justify a price to earnings ratio this high. Earnings per share, EPS, sitting at $2.52 per share. That's decent. Does not have the next earnings date for some reason, so you need to look that up in another source. And that is one of the things you're going to find out here. I could not find them in the other source that I typically use, but we'll see that here in a minute. Forward dividend is 93 cents paid out in the year. It does look like they are a annual payer to semi-annual payer. We'll see that as well here in a moment. And the last ex-dividend date was April 24th, so you would not be in line for the next dividend if you were to buy them now. Now, Yahoo Finance does have a one-year target estimate of $71.50, and this is going to be the only target price that we see. Again, I could not find them on my other site that I like to look at. But let's continue on through this. Now, statistics, we'll see a couple different things from the Yahoo Statistics tab here today. But the one that we always look at is dividend yield theory. So what you do there is you take a look at the 5-year average, 10-year average if you prefer, but this one goes by 5-year. It's 1.52. You look at the current, 1.63, or where it's forward dividend over here, 1.63. So this does, because it's higher than their 5-year average, speak to some potential undervaluation. I would call this kind of right in line with their 5-year average. They do not consistently pay out, so I would watch that. Potentially undervalued. I would not say that I would love them to pull back. Actually, I'm not really interested in buying the stock. Like I said, just Heine. I wanted to be able to say Heine in the videos. I'm going to be completely honest. That's part of the reason that I picked this one today. So some other things to note here. Payout ratio is low at 31.67%, so they do have a lot of runway to increase the dividend. As we said, last ex-dividend date was April 24th, and payout was May 9th, and we are talking about Heine, which is Heineken beers, right? Now, another one I like to look at under financials, and we're going to do a deeper dive into Yahoo's financials here on the next page as well. And I like to look at free cash flow. I like return on invested capital, return on equity as well. You'll find that all under statistics. We usually cover that on the other site, but it was not there, so we'll see that in the next page. But free cash flow, that's what they pay the dividends out of. So you want to see this growing over time, right? 2019, $2.236 billion. And 2020, $1.49 billion. So they did have a drop down from 2019 to 2020. 2021, they were back up to 2.5 billion there, so back in the running there. And then 2022, little drop there from 2021 to 2022, back to 2.4 billion. So overall, from 2019 to 2022, they did grow, but it is up and down a little bit, which I kind of would suspect, right? Usually whenever times are going bad, maybe more people go to the bar. Whenever times are going good, maybe more people don't. So I would expect some cyclicality in a stock like this. They are repaying debt, so that is nice to see. And this was all brought to you by Yahoo Finance. I'm not affiliated, just one of the sites I like to go to. I do typically always recommend more than one site, and I still do. Let's jump over to the next one that I like. Stockanalysis.com. They did not have Heine on their stock watch list or stock list, so I was not able to pull up any information. So what I did was let's do a deeper dive into the information that you can find on Yahoo Finance, so you can see some of the other things that I like to look at. And again, typically I look at these as well as stockanalysis.com to make sure that I am getting accurate information. And you should always look at more than one source also to make sure the information you are getting is back checked. But for this one, I thought we'd do something a little different and look at what the other information in Yahoo Finance offers. And it's similar to the same information that Stock Analysis typically provides, as well as other, Seeking Alpha, I know, is a good one that a lot of people like. Google has a source. There's all kinds of sources to go to find information. These are just two that I like. But again, Stock Analysis, for whatever reason, did not have Heine on its list. So I did a deeper dive in Yahoo Finance. Now, when I always talk about going into Yahoo Finance, into their financials, you can find their income statement. So I pulled this from their income statement. One of the things I like to look at from the income statement is revenue, and you want growing revenue over time, right? So 2019, $23.9 billion. 2020, it was down to 19.7. Then it looks like it was back on track in 2021 to 21.9 billion. 2022, 28.7 billion. Overall, from 2019 to 2022, it is growing. You have to see what they're at 2023, but you do want growing revenue over time. So overall, like I said, over the course of that 3-year span, 4-year span, they are growing. Now, the cost of revenue, you can take a look at there, and then gross profit as well. You want this all growing over time. Cost of revenue, not necessarily, but it typically does with inflation, right? You can see that. Now, another one that's in financials under Yahoo Finance is the balance sheet. So looking at balance sheet, I mentioned assets over liabilities a lot. So you can see total assets, 46 billion, 42 billion in 2022, down a little bit. They may have had some sells here. They might have sold off some assets. 2021, they were back to 48, and 2022, 52 billion. So you're seeing growing, for the most part, a little bit of a dip here in 2020. But overall, from 2019 to 2022, growing assets, and you really want to look at current liabilities, right? So current assets over current liabilities should typically be higher than it, but it is not here. But you also want to look at long-term, so non-current assets. This is long-term, and this is long-term liabilities. So really, total assets, total liabilities, this is what you want to see is higher. So 52 billion currently in 2020 over liabilities 30. So they do have more assets than liabilities. So if they had to, rather than go bankrupt, they could sell off their assets to pay off their liabilities, which is basically debt. So that's how that breaks down. So I would look at total assets over total liabilities and make sure that you have more than enough total assets to cover total liabilities. That's one of the other ones I like there. Now another one from Yahoo Finance. We typically look at this under stockanalysis.com, but again, could not find that information there. So we pulled it from Yahoo Finance. And so we're looking at profit margins at 9.34. That's nice. Operating margin 13.42. And this is what we typically look at for return on equity, right? ROE, and return on invested capital, ROIC. They call it return on assets. It's pretty much the same thing. Return, and I like over 10% or better or equal to their market competitors. So return on equity is 14.60. That is over our 10% that we look for. This one is not. Return on assets is lower, but I would have to compare that, like Budweiser or some other brands similar to that. So again, all this information can be found under Yahoo Finance. And let's keep on going because there's one more I want to look at. Dividend growth over time. So I had to go to their homepage and pull this information again. So they are a semi-annual or annual payer here. You can see in 2022 they did pay out 2, but in 2020, or I'm sorry, yes, they did pay out several, but in 2021 they only paid out 1 payment, and in 2020 they only paid out 1 payment. So this, I'm assuming this interim is what they would consider a special dividend. And it is not consistent over time, and it only pays out once a year. So I don't really like how they do their payouts. It is in euros, so you'd want to do the conversion, right? 1 euro is at $1.08, so €1.23 would be something like $1.30. 50 cents in euros would be something like 54 cents American. 96 cents euro would be close to $1 in American. So that's how you do the conversion there. That's why I put this over here on the side. So I don't like the way they pay out their dividends. It is not a consistent payer. I like something either quarterly, and if it is a company that pays out semi-annually, I like it to be a little bit more consistent, or it's a cyclical company like some of the mining companies that I have. Overall, I am not looking to buy Heine. I just saw it and thought it would be a fun one to do a video on and kind of see what they're all about. Hopefully you got something out of this video. If nothing else, you got to hear me say Heine on the day. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of Heineken. Is it, like I said, a beverage of your choice, or do you prefer another cocktail whenever you go out to the local pub or bar? This is my investment criteria. You can pause it, go through it here. That's what this page is for. And then that is really it on this one. As always, appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to show me some love. Hit that thumbs up, ring the notification bell. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the videos. Let me know what you think of Heine. I do personally read and respond to the comments. I'm always interested to read your questions, opinions, or suggestions for future topics. Go ahead and drop them all down below. And this is Shane signing off, wishing peace and prosperity to you and yours. And remember, financial security comes to those who take a vested interest. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in the presentation should be considered financial advice. I'm only sharing my opinion and investing journey for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk against money. You should never invest any amount not comfortable losing. Always do your own research. Invest based on your situation, circumstances, and select criteria, or seek the advice counsel of a certified financial advisor.